So, patch highlights for their first content update here on the test servers. 5 weapons with sniper scopes for long, medium, and short range. 2 new grenade types, flash bomb and the poison bomb. 12 new traits. 11 new hunter outfits. Improved map readability and changes to level architecture and boss areas. So, they've been talking about making it easier for, I guess, people to get in and out of the boss areas to fight. So, it's gonna help people, I guess, make it a little less campy for those who are trying to reach the boss area. Gonna make it easier for them, I believe, to get in there and actually contest the boss instead of just sitting there and waiting for the team to finish it and vanish and then wait to kill them. I believe that's what they were shooting for. We'll see what that is once we get in and try out some of these changes. Added fall damage, so we'll see how that changes the game. Inventory slot refactoring. Rebalance player footstep audio, so that could be a pretty big deal. Updated bloodline screen. So with the footsteps, I'm curious. I don't remember them saying they wanted to change anything about the footsteps, but I'm interested to see what that's going to do. I would assume they want to make it so that when you're walking slower, it's not as loud, because even when you're like crouched and walking, you'd still hear footsteps pretty easily. So they might have wanted to make it a little less audible, you know, when you're walking slower. So I'm interested to see what that's about exactly. But I'm sure we'll probably read some more about it here. But so let's get on to the more details of the patch notes. Additional rewards for target banishment. So this is a pretty nice change here. Changes to banishing and PvE rewards should increase the incentive to take on the bosses instead of camping while somebody else does the dirty work. A completed banishing will now fully restore your health, give your hunter additional health chunks if your hunter has room on their health bar. Additionally, killing, banishing, and extracting with at least 1 bounty token from the target now provides a post-mission bonus of 25 bounty called Clean Sweep. So there you go. So not only, well, you know, you get the reward for it, but you're going to get your health bar back. And if you have a hunter who is not at, you know, the full 150 HP, you're going to get an additional health check. Now, I would assume it's probably just going to be a 25 bar, like a 25 HP bar or small bar, not a big bar, but we'll see how that works. So that's a very needed change. Definitely going to incentivize actually going after the boss now a little bit more than just camping and letting someone else kill the boss for you, because there's actually something that benefits your hunter beyond just money. Bloodline screen refactoring. We've improved the bloodline screen to better your overall progress and how much you need to play for the next rank up. Where the tier gates for unlocking types of recruits are, recent and upcoming equipment unlocks, and a summary for your last match and highlights. Also made it easier to understand when you have unspent points or new gear to check out. Cool. Clue Defender. AI will now spawn randomly and much closer. AI will now spawn randomly and much closer around clue positions to provide an additional challenge when taking clues. Tracking clues. AI spawn around the clue locations, and combinations of AI will be randomized. It's also possible audio traps such as raven flocks spawn are nearby in some cases. Okay, so they're just saying that there's going to be more zombies in general around clues. I was curious before from reading the what they were trying to do with it, if it was going to be a new type of monster that was going to be guarding the clues, but looks like it's just going to be various groups of zombies that are already in the game. Maybe in the future they'll add something other specifically that guards it. So fall damage. Hunters now take fall damage when jumping, falling from high walls, ledges, and rooftops. Hunters take fatal damage when falling too far, for example, from church towers or high roofs. So fall damage in the game now. Yeah, it doesn't sound like it's going to be too drastic of a damage, which is good. I don't think this is going to change the game too much. It's just going to punish those people who, you know, were camping on top of churches and high buildings and were able to jump down and move around without being punished, essentially. Inventory system refactoring. Weapons are now categorized as large, medium, or small and have been redistributed across these 3 categories by default. Hunters only have one large and one small slot. If hunters equip a medium weapon in the first slot, the second slot will upgrade from small to medium. Interesting. So it sounds like without Quartermaster, you can have essentially 2 medium weapons, or you can have a large weapon and a small weapon, or potentially a large weapon and medium weapon. That'll be interesting to see how that's going to work out. And depending on how they rebalance that could make Quartermaster not quite as needed. So we'll see how those work out. We'll see how that's an interesting change. That could be a big change, or it could be a very minimal change. Map readability. Compound layouts have been changed to make boss arenas harder to successfully camp and provide more defensive options for players who take out a target. Some spawn areas also have been adjusted to provide cover and reduce your chances of being seen at the mission start. Okay, so we're making it so that at the mission start, because there are some areas where, like, literally, if you spawned at certain spots, there could be literally, you could be surrounded by 2 or maybe even 3 other teams, and you just die immediately because they could just pretty much see you after you take a few steps. Compound layouts making it harder for people to camp, so it sounds like they might have reduced. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how what they've changed in certain areas, because it sounds like they've kind of reduced cover around the boss arenas, which could also optimize the game a little bit better. So we'll see how that works. Developer notes, we focused our efforts on several areas, including changes to problematic or unbalanced locations with a specific focus on reducing camping and providing more cover and opportunity for players to engage boss targets. We'll continue to monitor feedback and make adjustments in the future. Oh, they've got a new arsenal. So, yeah, this is what they're talking. This is the weapons here that they added the scopes to. This update, we're adding 3 sniper scope attachments across 5 sniper rifle variants of existing weapons, as well as 2 consumables and 1 tool. Mosin, yep, we got a Mosin with a scope. We got a Nagant pistol with a scope. Interesting. Sparks with a scope. Carbiner with a scope. Winfield with a scope. And then they updated the model, make it to update the scopes for in the game. Flash bombs and poison bomb. Creates a cloud of poison gas which causes damage over time, similar to the spider's poison attack. Nice. Oh, I got a spyglass tool, so we got like a little goggle we can look at. Nice. Cool. New traits. With this update, we're also including 12 traits. So let's see what these traits are. Bullet Grabber replaces Pump Jockey trait. You can reload mid-clip without losing the chambered bullet in certain weapons. Okay. Bulwark reduces damage from explosives by 20%. That could be very nice. Deadeye Scopesmith for Spain. Remain in scope view after firing a shot while using any weapon with a short scope. That could be a big one. So you don't have to, when you shoot, it doesn't unscope you. You can remain scoped to stay on the target. That's a pretty big one. Iron Sharpshooter, remain in iron sights after firing a shot while using bolt action rifles. That could be a very big one. Iron Devastator, remain in iron sights between shots using shotguns. Alright. Nice. I like some of these changes. Kite Skin, reduce damage for falling by 50%, so it's going to reduce fall damage. Nice. Marksman Scopesmith, remain in scope view after firing a shot while using any weapon with a medium scope. Nice. Sniper Scope, so that's the same thing, but with long scopes. Resilience, get revived with 1 full health chunk. That's pretty big. Steady aim, display settles over 12 seconds with scope rifles. Steady hand, display settles over 12 seconds with scope pistols. Interesting. So 12 seconds is a long time. So I don't know how useful that's going to be, and that's going to be something we're going to have to play with, but that's... Yeah, 12 seconds is a long time. So we'll see how that works. That might be something that needs to be reduced, but I haven't tried it yet, so I can't really say. Slav Skin, health chunks damaged by fire heal faster to their full amount. That's a really big one. That's a really big one. So that's going to change health fire damage to not be quite as bad. PvP kill rewards. We are adding a tier-based PvP kill reward system in order to discourage hunting new players, white shirts, and instead focus on veteran players. See, I like this. I like this. So you get more XP for higher tier hunters. That's a very good change. So 100 XP for killing a tier 1 hunter, 500 XP for tier 2 hunter and 1000 XP for tier 3 hunters. I like that. That's a good change. Good change. General updates. AI general changes. AI is less likely to fall off cliffs during melee attacks now. All basic AI bosses, except for the Butcher, can now be reliably set on fire. So, the fighter, because that's the only other boss at the moment. Unless they added one and didn't tell us. Improve the reactions for the Grunt and Armored when hit. Result in hits being more reliable and reduce the chance of the AI striking a player as soon as they are hit. Okay. Increase draw distance of AI to support the longer sniper combat distances. Okay, nice. Increase the size of the hive's defensive swarm. So they're basically trying to make it so you just can't run up and melee the hives. Spider's now less likely to leave its lair by accident and die outside. I have not seen that happen. That's that's interesting. Okay. Enemy AI specific changes. So the Butcher. Added cooldown on hit reactions to avoid trapping him in a loop with continuous attacks. So you can't just sit there and melee stun lock him, basically. So that's good. Improved his attack validation to prevent him from hitting players through walls. Nice. That was a big problem. Improved chasing and retreating behavior to make him harder to exploit. Improved targeting his burning oil attack range. Increased resistance to melee attacks, so they don't want him to just melee down. I can understand that. Slightly reduced damage and range of his final strike when dying. Hellhound's head hit points have been increased to make it harder to kill with headshots from weak weapons. Improved locomotion to hit reaction animations to be more reliable and snappy. For reactions, Hellhounds can outsee and hear players at a greater distance. Wow, that's going to be a pain in the ass. They will also no longer attack in a straight line, making them more challenging. Improve the group behavior to avoid getting stuck when retreating. Improved search behavior when player is unreachable. Well, that's great. Hellhound's pretty much been buffed. Those things are like the most dangerous AI. With those being buff, I'd like to see the XP you get for killing them a little bit more. I don't think they give you a ton of XP. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head how much they give you. But anyway, Meathead decreased health to 25%. Okay, that's good because they were definitely sponges. Improved his attack validation to prevent him from hitting players through walls. Improved the rage behavior when he's aggroed without having a visible target. Increase the range at which leeches sense players by 50%. Okay. So they decreased its health so it's easier to kill, but they basically made him easier to find people with the leeches, because that's what the leeches are for. The leeches essentially are what hunt people down for him. Audio. Development, we appreciate your very detailed audio feedback and suggestions. While we might not be able to take all of them into account, continue to work improved audio experience fun Showdown. Improved audio consistency. Fixed audio events and actions which sounded too different depending on perspective or situation. Includes pass on player and teammate footsteps and adjusted attenuation for animal tractors listening from indoor and outdoor. Okay. Improved audio readability, fixed audio events, enemies, and actions which had missing or underwhelmed acoustic feedback. Includes being on fire, getting hit, and hitting enemies, as well as enhancements. The AI cast condition tells adjusted audio events which were too prominent that got in the way of gameplay and turn these down to be less intrusive. This includes the extraction timer. Okay, awesome. So yeah, as soon as you hit like the extraction, you hear this loud gong and it would just keep on beeping down. And yeah, it was very hard to hear things. Low health heartbeat and some boss status stingers. Improved audio realism. Some audio events were enhanced to realistically reflect the actual loudness and sound environment where it's occurring. Includes the this includes the occlusion behavior. So sound being muffled behind walls and less audible when underground. Reverb adjustments for barns and boss arenas, as well as gunshot reflection adjustments. Nice gunplay. Add a new medium sway pattern alongside rifle and pistol sway, which is now used by all rifles with bayonets and all pistols with buttstocks while aiming down sights. Development note: rather than just two, this third type now allows us to make rifles with bayonets more accurate and pistols and buttstocks less accurate, rather than having to pick the other extreme. So why would they want to make pistols with I mean, I guess because I mean a pistol is, is still going to be less accurate with than a rifle is overall. So I think that's what they're going for with that, because like a Nagant pistol is better. Precision Nagant was better than the Winfield overall. So I guess I think that's what they're trying to do here. make it so that the pistols with the buttstocks aren't quite as good. All sniper scopes, iron sights for bolt action rifles, and iron sights for pump out shotguns zoom out between shots now. Okay. Ammo boxes now grant slightly less ammunition. Bombs and explosives will no longer detonate and will be consumed when thrown into water. What? Bombs and explosives will no longer detonate. Oh, if it's in water. Okay. That makes sense. Second there was like, what? Bullet impacts now create a stronger stimulus. This will now increase the aggro radius and effect of AI animals at greater distance. Change the recoil kick pattern on all single action revolvers to recocking the hammer after each shot into account. So I guess, yeah, the pistols are going to take a little longer. Sounds like they're trying to make pistols not as good. Compact bullets now more powerful and bleed less power over what? Oh, okay. Bleed less power over distance. So the compact anything that has compact ammo now is does more damage at distance, essentially. Increased damage with Winfield rifles, increased damage with Caldwell pistols, increased the damage values of all weapons against hunters have been returned from 100 HP to 105 HP. All hunters start with 150. All hunters start with 150 HP on recruitment. Huh. There you go. That's a very good change too. That's one that I was talking about. All starting hunters now have 150 HP. So if that's in the game, that's a very good change in my opinion. Every new hunter will start at that 150 HP. Yeah, on recruitment, so everyone will have max health. Nice. This change, hunters have become slightly more survivable by default, but they can no longer boost their health to gain a stronger advantage. In a nutshell, while overall health went up, so did the damage hunters take from weapons, resulting in a very similar gun experience. I like that. I like that change. Decrease the zoom for iron sights on all weapons to make room for new sniper scopes. Developer mode. Holding fire button down for after shooting suppresses this mechanic, so you can confirm your kills first. Huh. Oh, okay. So you don't get as much zoom on iron sights anymore to make the sniper scopes actually better, essentially, and actually useful. Decoys are now more reliable in terms of damaging enemies and destroying lanterns. Okay. Dusters and items that attack using fists now consume a lot less stamina, making them very economic choices against groups of enemies. So that might make the dusters usable again. Ammo pool increased for some weapons. Caldwell conversion pistols, you get 24 ammo now instead of 18. So we're reducing ammo that you find from boxes, but you're going to start with more ammo overall. That's good. Caldwell conversion chain pistol up to 24. Carbiner up to 19. 19. Winfield gets 22. Yeah, all the Winfields get 22. Nice. Fuses can now set enemies on fire when they are hit by them. Increase damage of regular melee attacks for all true melee weapons. Knife, machete, cavalry saber. Minor changes made to the Derringer's recoil pattern. The Gaunt silencer bleeds damage much faster over distance now than other weapons using compact bullets. So they're trying to rebalance it and make it basically the same, since compact bullets now do more damage at distance. They're trying to make it, basically how it was. Nitro Express Rifle will now receive 2 bullets instead of 1 from large ammo boxes. Nice. Tweaked heavy and regular melee attack rolls for true melee weapons. Damage ratio was 3-1, now it's 2-1. Alright, cool. Alright, so, hunters. Bloodlust no longer provides immunity to bleeding, but halves the bleed damage received over time. First aid kit no longer stops hunter from burning. That's a pretty big one, actually. Can't stop the burning using just first aid kit now. Footstep sounds have been fully returned to encourage players to be more active when close to enemy hunters. Overall audio range reduction. Okay, so I guess, yeah, they're making it harder for you to hear people. Jumping now costs 20 stamina, reduced bunny hopping. You can now still continue jumping even when the bar is empty, but will fatigue as normal. Okay, so bunny hop reduction, so that's a good thing. Master factor of all player stat system to kill a number of health-related bugs. Cool. Poisons damage now results in a much stronger on-screen effect and reduces peripheral vision. Okay. That's good. Poison needed some kind of buff, because all it really did was prevent you from auto-healing. It really wasn't a big deal. Quartermaster now upgrades the second weapon slot from small to medium, allowing you to equip one large and one medium weapon instead of two large weapons. So yeah, that's what I was saying. So Quartermaster doesn't sound like it's going to be as necessary as a perk now. With that change, I would like them to reduce the cost of Quartermaster as an upgrade, but we'll see how that goes once I've gone and tested it. I haven't actually had a chance to try it yet. Vitality Shot no longer removes burning effect, another big change. Water Footsteps visual effect size is now linked to depth of the water and speed of the hunter. You're now allowed to use Dark Sight. You're now allowed to use Dark Sight while waiting for hunters. Okay. So you can see where, when you're first loading into the game and you're waiting for other hunters to come in, you can use Dark Sight to see immediately where you need to go. You are now allowed to use in-game voice communication while waiting for other hunters, so you can talk to other people. Okay. We've drastically increased the amount of possible hunter names, making it less likely for players to get a hunter with recruits the same names over and over again. Number of possible American, English, French, and German recruit names increased. We've added 3 new nationalities with similar numbers of names. Now our hunters can have Irish, Scottish, and Scandinavian names. Awesome. Cool. Meta. Hunters. Additional names added to the pool for hunter recruits. All recruited hunters now start with 150 regardless of tier. I really like that change, so I'm glad they took it. Developer notes. With this change, we want to normalize the gameplay advantage higher tier hunters had. Players no longer have to grind for health before they have a fair chance in PvP encounters. We hope this makes players become more active and engaging with more with the mission rather than farming points only. In essence, buying health is now a replenishment rather than a boost mechanic. I like it. I like that change. The one that I suggested to them, I don't know if they took it from me or if they had planned on doing that, but it's a very good change in my opinion. It's one that needed to have the game because, you know, in PvP encounters, it's just when a tier 3 hunter has full health and you're a tier 0 hunter and you've got, or you know, no health, you know, what are you gonna do? You're automatically at a disadvantage. It's gonna take you twice as many hits with the wind field to kill them as it is for them to kill you, and you didn't get anything extra from it. So really good change. I think it's gonna encourage people to fight a little bit more, definitely. So increase the base cost for tier 2 and tier 3 hunter recruits. Tier 1 is 0, tier 2 is $100, tier 3 is $250. Cool. Improvements made to the equipment for new recruits. This should decrease the chances of nonsensical loadouts, such as multiple melee weapons. Good. Good. Tier 0 recruits now come with 2 vitality shots instead of 1. Interesting. So that's about the tier 0 recruits. So yeah, that's cool. Help the new guys out more. Menu. Added tooltips with additional details about ammunition and damage types in the arsenal and in the store when hovering over the icons. Add additional hits to the loading screen. Weapon damage bars in the arsenal and store now also display numbers. Awesome. So you can actually see damage numbers now of weapons. So you can actually know exactly how much damage weapons are doing. That's good. Weapon damage bars in the arsenal and store now also display numbers. That's a big change. So you can actually know how much damage specific weapons are doing. And then with the last video that I put out that shows the chart of the damage fall off and the penetration fall off, you can see exactly how far away, when you're shooting someone, how much damage things are going to do. Awesome. I like that now. So new video coming about that eventually. When changing weapon loadouts, players will now only see a list of compatible weapons for that slot. Cool. Store. New equipment added. Yep. Most in sniper. That's expensive. $13.40. That is pretty expensive, but you know, it's sniper. Got a scope. But that unlocks at $95. We got Deadeye. $34. Okay, that's not bad. Pistol with the scope on it unlocks at 34. Rank 34. Spark Sniper, $330, unlocks at rate 53. Okay. Carbiner Deadeye unlocks at 65. Winfield Marksman unlocks at 38. Flash Bomb at 23, $15. Nice. These are pretty reasonably priced. These are reasonably priced, these grenades. I like this. I think they need to reduce the price of some of the other grenades, like the dynamite and the frag bomb. But I think $50 is a little too expensive for grenades. For something that you're going to use once, you're potentially not going to hit something with. Equipment unlock rank changes. Most of Nagant Obrez unlocked moved from 77 to 49. Okay. So the standard ones they moved down. Okay. I like that. I like that. So you can get the standard ones without the scopes earlier on. And that's going to be interesting because, you know, they changed the iron sight zoom, so it's not quite as good. But still, that's going to let you use those weapons earlier on. I like that. That's another very good change. I like it. I like a lot of what they've done in this patch. Very good stuff. New traits added. Bullet Grabber for 6 upgraded points at 69. Bulwark for 6 upgrade points at 87. Deadeye at 42. Iron Sharpshooter at 96. Iron Devastator at 66. Kite Skin at 27. Marksman at 50. Resilience at 21. Sniper Scopesmith at 75. Slave Skin at 12. Steady Aim at 78. Steady Hand at 51. So it's a good range from when you can lock it. They're not all in-game, you know, traits that you can get. And they all don't look like they're super expensive. The Bullet Grabber is the most, well, the Bullet Grabber and the Bulwark are the most expensive ones at 6 points. It looks like the rest of them are, well, Steady Aim is at 6 too, and Steady Hand's at 5. But for the most part, they're 3 or 4 upgrade points, which you can get in one game. That's not terrible. Train unlocks for rank changes. Fanning. Rank unlock moved from 87 to 36. Wow. So they moved the fanning, fan the hammer down to 36 for the pistols. So you can get that much earlier. I wonder if because they thought fanning was more powerful than what it actually was, and it's not super OP in my opinion. It's very good against the bosses, but it's not quite so good against people. Greyhound rank unlock moved from 34 to 18. Nice, that's another good one. That lets you sprint longer before you run out of stamina, if I remember correctly. Pack Mule moved down to 30. Pack Mule gives you an extra tool, I believe. Pack Mule either gives you an extra tool or consumable. I don't remember. Quartermaster rank moved from 24 to 45. So wow, they up Quartermaster 45. But again, I don't know if that's as needed as much. Okay, so they made price changes to guns too, and the uppercut pistol has been buffed a lot as far as price goes. That's a big price increase, $100. The Caldwell conversion pistol, yeah, increased from 175 to 275. That's a big price increase. Crown King auto increased from 166 to 266, so the auto shotty much more expensive. Concertina bomb price reduction from 35 to 15, so they have reduced bomb prices. Okay. Okay. Dolch 96 precision, or no, that's not the precision. Precision's down here. What? Holy shit! $720. Dolch 96 increased from 190 to 490, and the precision increased from 280 to 720. Good lord! All right, well, Dolch is super expensive now. Mosin Automat increased from $999 to $1,800. Wow. Well, this is a lot of price increases. A lot of price increases. Standard got up to $900. Got with the bayonet as $985 now. The Obrez, which is I think the cut down version, is $478. Carbine with the bayonet goes up to $165. Antidote shot price goes up to $25. Stamina shots $25 and Vit shots $25. It's not that big of a deal for a Vit shot. It's $5 extra. Stamina shot's a big increase though. But that's going to prevent people from being able to just use a stamina shot and again melee down the boss. But they've also reduced melee damage on the butcher, and he's not going to be able to be stun locked anymore. So we'll see how that goes. That's a lot of price increases. So gonna make it so that end game hunters aren't gonna be able to have these super weapons as much, but man, that's pricey. Performance profile tool, which can be enabled in HUD. This tool will display basic set of data on the top right of the HUD with FPS, frame time, main thread, and render thread time, as well as current ping. Okay, that's good. So you can actually see your ping now as well. Big deal. This allows us to gather some more specific information from hunters who experience performance issues and provide hunters with the option to check their performance individually. Nice. Service changes soften the loss of hunters due to technical difficulties of added feature, which will prevent players from losing hunters due to irregular disconnects. This system will return a hunter to its pre-match state if certain conditions, maintenance, server crashes, invalid anti-cheat kicks, client crash, mid-mission. So awesome. So you're not going to lose your hunters as much to crashes and other stupid BS stuff. Cool. UI changes, added mission countdown timer to in-game map, added stance indicator in the HUD, added out-of-breath indicator in the HUD, ammo pickups no longer showing percentage and now displays actual numbers of bullets. Good change, because, you know, you want to see the actual bullets, not percent. That's kind of a weird thing. Change the extraction icons in in-game map. Polish and improve the readability of the in-game map, improve the readability of the player teammate icon. World, adjust the distance of object rendering and distance in which the LOD is changed. Worked on reducing popping and adjust the view distance of objects and LOD swaps. Awesome. Elevator mechanics been reversed to allow them to be used by a single player at a time. Okay. Okay. It is now be possible. It would now be possible for solo hunters or hunter players to use crank operators elevators easily. The elevator position is now raised by default when cranked. It will now automatically raise to the top of the shaft after a hunter has entered a cabin. Cool. So you can use an elevator by yourself now. Improved leading for players in some spawn areas. Additional leading away from spawn points to the nearest compounds has been added in some locations. Lockbag docks should now be correctly referenced in the level, not Lockport docks. Okay. Made the hunting towers more useful and added more cover. Okay. Let us know if you find any useful or not. We will evaluate this and consider adjusting them depending on our community's feedback. Players will now always be able to see 2 to 3 clue locations using dark vision. We felt having a single clue visible does not provide enough options for hunters when deciding which clues to head towards. Resolved hunters now always see 2 to 3 clues instead of only seeing 1 clue. Awesome. So that's another good change. So you can see multiple clues, see which one you want to go after. Quality of life fixes throughout the level, bugs, clipping issues, falling out of level, blah, blah, blah. Fixed a lot of bugs that have been reported to the community and internally to make the map more stable, bug-free, with fewer places for hunters and AI to get stuck. We have also fixed many floating objects, several train holes in the level, and fixed several groups of vegetation that could disappear too early. Cool. We applied some compound changes as follows. So, Alice's Son's Fish Farm added more cover and protection to building exits. Improved approaches with more cover. Improved access to northern vegetation islands frequently camped. Simplified a number of approaches to the compound from the north. Simplified underside of the main building with less of a maze. Cool. Alice Farm added doors to the lower part of the butcher fight building to make entry and escape easier. Closed up upper barn to the west side to allow players to easily shoot at hunters engaging the target. Okay. Blanchard Graves added window access to the butcher space. Previously only a single point of easily defendable access. Cleaned up art around the compound. Added some additional cover. Moved window access to corner to be less visible from perimeter wall. Reduced the amount of vegetation around the circular grave area that hunters could hide in. Cool. Catfish Grove added new protected ramp entrance. Added new blockers to cover the boss building entrance to reduce direct line of sight into the building. Added more cover to perimeter. Adjusted some paths to reduce the amount of water wadding. Or reduced cluster of interior. Alright. Cypress huts. Added cover to make south side of the water less exposed. Added a building to provide cover in the northern area of the compound. Provided more bulletproof cover to the upper area of the boss structure. Darrow Livestock. Added more bulletproof cover around the compound. Added more cover on the west side of the compound. Added ladder to roof hole. Okay. Adjusted entrance positions on the west side of the compound. Increased size of the butcher fight area slightly to reduce the amount of clutter. Removed underused crank door in the north side of the barn. Okay. Port Reeker added more bulletproof cover on the compound. Added roof access to several buildings. Added access perimeter hut roof, easier to see, and the cost of being visible to others. Added more cover to some of the surrounding roads. Increased perimeter wall height to reduce line of sight directly to the compound. Removed a number of buildings to reduce overall complexity. Removed or converted some buildings that were not accessible. Removed buildings now to provide more defensive positions at the southern edge of the compound. Moved crank gate from the lower portion of the compound. Thin dot cluster vegetation at the southern approach and Chapel and Madonna. Added a number of access points around the perimeter. Western Underground exit reworked to be safer for players engaging from underground. Okay. Alright. Upper Lake. Added line of sight blockers to cover the boss building entrance. Added more perimeter cover for approaching players. Increased the size of the forest area on the northern side of the compound. Major light changes made due to its well-deserved reputation for being a great place to get your hunter killed. Yeah. Provide different terrain options for the paths to get in and out of the compound. Reduce the amount of water overall. Reduce vegetation density of the west area. This is popular for campers. Burke northern entrance elevator. Windows in the boss building are now closed by default. Can still be open. So yeah, that scupper area, that's like the northeast part of the map that no one likes to go to. It's that giant swamp that's deep and you can't move through at all. So they've reduced the water, and I think hopefully the depth of the water, and they made that area not quite so dangerous. Yeah, so let's see here. Other changes. Executable is now huntgame.exe instead of huntgame.launcher. Our game launcher.exe. This also resolves the issue with the game not being detected incorrectly by the NVIDIA experience. Alright, and so the rest of this is just bug fixes. I'm not going to worry about going through and reading all these bug fixes here, because it's already been a pretty long video. But yeah, I'm going to link the patch notes down below in the description, so if you guys want to go through and read this on your own and look through some of these changes on your own, feel free to. But a lot of big changes in this patch, a lot of really good and needed changes. Got some new content with, you know, new scopes on the guns, new traits, new grenades. They rebalanced some of the guns, the new 150 HP, you know, for starting hunters no matter what. A lot of big changes in this patch. A lot of good quality of life stuff. So I think this is going to breathe some new good life into the game and hopefully bring some people back to it. So lots of really good changes. Looking forward to trying it out myself in the test server and seeing how all these changes go.